Hello, everybody. Alongside Don Helbig, I'm Ryan Sir, and welcome to the Pick Six, the podcast by the Attractions Group, where we discuss the latest news and information for the theme park industry.
Now, before we dive into this week's Pick Six, let me remind our listeners where they can tune into the Attractions Group podcast. You can catch us on your favorite podcast platforms. We're talking Apple, Spotify, Google, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like and share with your like-minded friends. Ryan, story number one.
Story numero uno. We're going to go to the park, or the story I'm most excited for and have been for about 2 years now. And the new Epic Universe theme park at Universal Orlando Resort in Florida could open as early as Memorial Day weekend 2025, earlier than planned, according to a Wall Street Journal report. Ticket sales may begin this month with plans for multi-day packages to avoid overcrowding during the opening phase. The theme park will have more than 50 attractions across 5 themed lands. Now, by the time this drops, this will drop on the 17th of October. They're supposed to make some sort of announcement. Yeah, Universal Orlando announced they're making an announcement, and there was 10, 17, 24, and had stars in the background. So read for it what it is, but this might be that announcement that's coming.
Yeah, Ryan, like you, I'm super excited about Epic Universe. I'm thinking if about trips for next, summer or fall. Epic Universe certainly has to be on my list of things to do.
Absolutely. Might be hard to get into next summer, but I'm going to make it happen. All right. Next
That's
up.
Right. I recently had the opportunity, Ryan, to visit Kentucky Kingdom for their fall festival, Pumpkins at Kentucky Kingdom. And Ryan, I got to say, I was thoroughly impressed. Currently in its third year, the event is beautifully executed. With amazing decor that brings the magic of autumn to life. Runs every Thursday through Sunday in October. And this event, it offers the perfect balance of, thrills and fall fun. So between the rides, you can explore, hay maze, participate in fall themed games, and interact with colorful characters. There's even trick-or-treating for the little ones, great food. And when the sun goes down, the park transforms into a glowing spectacle with dozens of illuminated pumpkins and towering pumpkin sculptures lighting up the night. And as I was experiencing this event, Ryan, one of the things that came to mind for me is, if this is this good, I really can't wait to experience their holiday event in a couple of months.
I've heard that Herschend Family Entertainment has some experience doing some holiday events at some places that might be some of the best in the country. So yes, I would not, I don't think that this park should be undersold or understated when it comes to a holiday event. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they have in mind.
Yeah, don't sleep on the fall event. I mean, if you have a chance
No.
for the next couple of weeks to get out and try it, Ryan, I certainly, you don't live that far away. You live in northern Kentucky. Check out Kentucky Kingdom. I think you'll be as impressed as I was.
I'm very much due for another visit to Kentucky Kingdom. I will concede that. All right, next up. Lake Compounce invites mini werewolves, witches, and woofers to its annual Halloween dog costume parade on Sunday, October 20th. In partnership with the Meridian Humane Society, the event offers a spectacular day for pups and their parents from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., featuring pup cups, Halloween treats, and pumpkin picking. The parade begins at 4 p.m., and guests donating $10 or more worth of dog treats, toys, or food will receive a holiday lights ticket. The fun is part of Phantom Fall Fest, which transforms into the park into a haunt event after 6 p.m. Every weekend in October. I love everything that has to do with dogs.
I do too. I think this would be such a cool event. I wish I lived a lot closer to Lake Compounce.
Yeah, I've got a beagle who sheds a lot, so I don't like to have her in my car, but I would totally take her. I miss when Kings Island did dog days, but let's not discuss that because I
That
want to do
was
a Tower
fun.
Topics
Dog
on it.
Days. Yeah, I remember that. Dog Days in October, I think it was called.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely. All right, next up.
Well, the wildest ride in the wilderness is set to go quiet at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom in early 2025. Disney has announced that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, a beloved attraction in Frontierland, will close for refurbishment on January 6, 2025, and remain closed throughout the year, reopening with a little bit of new magic in 2026. Now, for fans like myself, this news brings mixed emotions. Big Thunder Mountain has always been one of my favorite attractions, a quintessential Disney experience that embodies the thrills of a runaway train careening through the Wild West. knowing it'll be closed for the entirety of 2025 is a bit of a letdown, especially for those who make regular pilgrimage to Magic Kingdom. But at the same time, Ryan, there's excitement in the air about what that new magic might entail.
Yeah, the rumor is that it's going to be a full track replacement, which is something that was done at Disneyland, first of all. And then I don't know much about this, but from what I was hearing on YouTube, which makes it true, by the way, um, the final like lift hill was supposed to have like the boulders looking like they were falling out, but in Disneyland Paris, one of them actually fell and it almost hit a guest, so they freaked out and they disabled it. But at Disneyland, like California, they have something to do with like an explosion, like a dynamite explosion or something like that. So they're speculating that that might be the extra magic that they're adding to it. But yeah,
Next,
long, at least a year long. The Disneyland one they also said would be a year, and it took them quite a bit longer than that. So I wouldn't count on this being opened in January 2025. But anything to keep it open, for the long run. All right, Disneyland Resort teased the return of its Paint the Night parade with social media posts featuring a close up of the cars, uh, mock float, and the caption, "When can we do this again?" A lyric from Owl City's theme song for the parade, Paint the Night, which debuted at Hong Kong Disneyland 2014 and moved to Disneyland, California in 2015, replacing the Main Street Electrical Parade. It later shifted to Disney's California Adventure before closing in 2018. While the Hong Kong version is expected to return for the park's 20th anniversary next year, fans are eager to learn if it will also be part of Disneyland's 70th anniversary celebration, for which details were sparse at last month's D23 event. Yeah, Disney does their parades right, doesn't it?
they do parades great, and gosh, 70 years old, for Disneyland. I mean, they always do their anniversaries right too, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I became, an annual pass holder at Walt Disney World, within the last year and a half or so. So I barely missed the 50th thing. But I remember the consensus was that it was kind of disappointing. But their 100th, which was a company-wide thing, which was like immediately after the 50th, ironically enough, was really cool. They added the statues, and they have a lot of like Platinum Series merchandise and stuff. And I know that Disneyland's 60th was a really big deal too. They had those ears, like the Mickey ears, and they were so popular that they were back ordered. You could like order them in the shops, and it was going to take like 6 months to get them or something. But yeah, you're right. They do anniversaries very well.
That they do.
Next up.
Well, Fun Spot America has unveiled its all-new fall event, Fun-O-Ween. This family-friendly Halloween celebration promises thrills for all ages every Saturday in October at Fun Spot's Orlando, Kissimmee, and Atlanta locations. Guests arriving at the park are greeted by the festive atmosphere of Fun-O-Ween, featuring hundreds of pumpkins, eerie music, and themed photo spots, perfect for capturing seasonal memories. Fun Spot America has unveiled its all-new event. Again, every Saturday in October.
Yeah. Now I will say this, got to cross paths with the Airy family that owns Fun Spot. They're fantastic. I don't know a whole lot about, Fun-O-Ween, obviously, because I haven't attended it yet, but very, very good parks, very well kept, very well trained people, very polite. They've got, let's say, Herschend style values to them.
They do. Every time I've gone to a Fun Spot, it has been a good time.
Yeah, that's why they call it Fun Spot, not Boring Spot. Awesome. Cool. Hey, let's move on to the listener questions. First listener question, Ralph G, Atlanta, Georgia. What's one defunct ride you both wish could make a comeback, and why does it hold such a special place in your hearts?
Well, for me, I'm going to go with the original Bat at Kings Island, Aero
Okay.
suspended coaster. I felt of all the suspended coasters I've been on, that was the best one. It was a prototype at the time, so it just didn't work out. Ended up having 49 rides on it. but that was, like I said, the best of the suspended coasters, I'd been on. So if the defunct ride could come back and I could ride it again, it would be that one. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, I don't think you're going to be surprised when I say either Phantom Theater or the Flying Eagles. I like how we both picked Kings Island rides. They didn't say outside of Kings Island.
Well, I mean, for me, the Flying Eagles are still in operation at Carowinds, so it's still there. You can still ride it. It's not like gone. So,
but it's
for
not the
me,
Flying Eagles, and it's not at Kings Island. So
okay, there
if
you
you
go.
if you go to Kings Island, now granted, like you can make the argument that Franklin's fly, whatever. Flying Eagles, if you walk into Kings Island, you have as much of a chance of riding that as you do the original Bat right now. That's the way that I see it as a defunct ride.
Okay.
Simple as that. All right. Next listener question. Tommy H from Buffalo, New York. If you could design a new roller coaster for any park, what type of coaster would it be? And which park do you think would it be a perfect fit for?
Okay, now you got to remember, I'm a traditionalist, right? I like wooden coasters. So for me, I would like to see kind of a modern day Coney Island Cyclone type ride.
Okay.
And I'd love for it to be at Cedar Point. They've got Blue Streak, but I do think when you look at their lineup, the one thing for me that's missing, is that modern day wooden roller coaster. So I'd love to see something that's, kind of intense, something that's a throwback, to history and nostalgia. I think Cedar Point, as old as it is, it still, has that old school charm, to it, despite adding all the hardware that they have in recent years and that. But I think that would be something I'd love to see, a Coney Island Cyclone type ride built at Cedar Point, because I think it would fit in and look like it's been there forever.
Yeah. I think I would go the opposite direction and I would go for ultra modern. And I have the Vortex plot in mind at Kings Island because that's the gaping hole that still bothers me to this day. But I would like to have a Vekoma multi-launch coaster. Think like Big Bear. I'd like to be a little bit more thrilling than Big Bear, but the twist on it would be it's going to be very tunnel based, and I want it to be like themed. I want the ride to come to a stop and have thematic elements and stuff, and then go from there.
I like that.
Either that or there's a lot of ones in Europe where it's like a flying coaster, but for dark ride sections, it tilts you up and you're in like a sitting position and you just go through this dark ride. I'd love to see something like that. I'd be more apt to want to design a dark ride than a roller coaster, to be honest with you. Because I just feel like my imagination isn't that wild when it comes to roller
I'm a
coasters.
big fan of immersive dark rides.
Yeah.
So I would love to see, anytime a park would put in a really good dark ride, I'm all for it. If that would be something that would be, when you're talking about what you're thinking there. So I'd be all for that, Ryan.
Absolutely. Great question, Tommy. Hey, we'll be back next week with the Attractions Group podcast once again.